We are looking at one of the most incredible custom 1911s on the planet. We're going to take a trip to the man's shop who made this gun from scratch. He makes them one at a time. Bernie from CSC Arms. He's a good friend of mine, and I got to say, Bernie's going to have a huge name just like a Les Bear does right now, our beloved friend Les Bear. And in this video, we're going to go to his shop, and we're going to see exactly what he does to make one of these custom 1911s. It's just gorgeous. I bought this, and it's number 15, serial number 15. He's got serial numbers 1 through 10 himself, and a couple of guys beat me for 11, 12, 13, and 14. I wanted number 11. But I tell you what, these are going to be worth some money. And let me show you the other side right now, then we're going to go to the shop. Here's a nice close look at the other side. And Bernie really puts a lot of attention to detail into his 1911s. You can even see on the slide there, it's got different types of serrations. Very interesting. And when we go to the shop, he's going to talk to you about what he does personally to make his custom 1911s different than other custom 1911s. I'll let him explain it himself. But it was very impressive, and I'm very impressed with it. That's why I bought this gun. And I just show Bernie some love because he's like an artist who just been working on something for 50 hours. He puts these things out one at a time, and then when it's unveiled to the public, he should be proud of this gun, and we're proud to take a look at it. And if you want to give Bernie some business, his website's below. Let's go to his shop. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. Here we are with the man himself, Bernie, CSC Arms. Thank you so much for making this gun for me personally, and I really see you becoming one of the biggest manufacturers of custom 1911s in the world. Like I said, this is going to be a true educational video on what goes into a custom 1911 and some of the differences. Bernie's very articulate, and he's going to do a real good job. I think you'll love this. Bernie, I'm going to turn it over to you. What goes into making a custom 1911? We have a completed one here on the left, mine, and then we also have one that's broken down that you're about to work on and custom build. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us all about what goes into making a custom 1911?
Well, first off, there's a lot of man hours doing a custom gun. And, you know, a big difference when we talk about a manufactured gun and a custom gun. A custom gun with the tolerances, everything has to be hand filed, calibrated, and that's what you're going to get in your accuracy. Even down to a match grade barrel, everything is fitted properly. The lugs and the hood of the barrel for tight tolerances to give you your accuracy.
Let's start off with the fit of the slide to the frame, and why don't you put it in here in front of the white here and show us. This is how your frame comes out of the CNC machine, correct?
Yeah. First off, this is a forged steel out of bar stock steel off the CNC, and you can see here it's checkered 30 lines per inch, and the slide, and our slides are flat topped. Now,
explain that flat top. I'm going to stop you a couple times here, which I find extremely interesting. Compared to, here I have an Ed Brown here. Show the difference in the top of each slide.
Well, you can see the Ed Brown is actually a round top, and this is a flat top.
Right. And what's the benefit of the flat top?
The flat top, your sighting is lower, so it actually gives you your sights. It preps the sights up higher, so it's a better sighting in for.
I agree.
Into the target.
Let's talk about the slide and the frame and how it comes, and let's see how it fits here. It's not going to fit too well. This is one you haven't worked on yet.
Yeah, this is one straight out of the machine, and your slide, you can see the rails are oversized, and I can show you here. See, yeah, it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. Now this one you worked on.
Yeah, and the reason being, every gunsmith wants it oversized. When you file and calibrate, you get it to precise fitment to a tight slide to frame fit on your slide. And here's one that a gun that I just finished. It's ready for getting sandblasting and coating to look like that.
So how does that slide fit on that frame?
And we can show you here.
And you did it all by yourself?
Yeah, you can see all the filing marks. And it's not just filing. You have to calibrate on the caliber, your precise measurement. So you actually file a little bit, check your measurement. File a little bit, check your measurement. I've been doing this 13 years, and you could overfile something and mess everything up.
And how does that fit now? It's tight as a clam, huh?
Yeah.
Silky smooth. How about the sights and how they fit on the slide? What do you got to do?
Yeah, the other thing is too, here these sights are actually fitted on the slide.
And what type of sights are they?
Meprolite, night sights.
Very good.
Night
yeah,
sights.
Very good.
And you actually have to hand file. You calibrate your sight measurement, because every sight has a different measurement. So then you actually file the slide to fit on the sight.
Okay, and what about the barrel bushings?
Okay, here's the other thing. There's quite a bit of work gets done on slides, especially my slides. The bushing comes oversized, and you have to fit the bushing to actually fit on the slide.
And how do you do that? How do you physically do that?
You have to file. I use a Dremel inside the slide. You can see there that that's the markings. And just to give you a fact here, here's the one that's not worked on. And you see it doesn't even fit.
I got you. That's a good example.
And you want the bushing to be tight, because that's what's going to give you your battery lockup and your accuracy.
Great, we're learning a lot here. How about the barrel itself, and how you fit that to the slide?
Okay, the barrel gets quite a bit of work, and most of the barrels won't even fit inside the slide. So it has to have its clearance issues. To actually fit, and you saw when I was going in there, it went right into battery.
So what did you do to make that so perfect?
Okay, well, the barrels.
Match grade.
Yeah, this is a stainless match grade barrel, 45 calibrated. The lugs inside are oversized, or the fitment, and also the barrel hood could have extra material on that. So you have to file to get your precise engagement in the barrel to actually fit and lock up in the barrel.
What about the smooth edges on the slide? Is the finished product?
Yeah,
beautiful.
Here is, I'm going to show you. When it comes off the machine doesn't smooth out the edges. And here's one, and you could see the edges. So you actually take a file and just kind of clean up the edges. And you can see around here.
What do you mean fit barrel to hood? What do you got to do for that?
Here's the barrel hood, and that was what I was saying. Sometimes you have to calibrate. I don't have my measurements in front of me, but you have to calibrate what your size fitment is from your hood or your slide.
Yep. Now the trigger is really special on this. Explain that trigger and how it differs. For instance, most 1911s.
Yeah. And
the rounded trigger, and
curved trigger compared to a flat trigger. And we talked about this, and before I started doing my guns, I was telling you got to get a flat trigger, right, Tom?
Yep.
So the cool thing about a flat trigger, and I'm a big fan of flat triggers, you get positive engagement wherever you grab the trigger. So the trigger actually, the movement when it goes back and forth, it's getting the same positive movement from back and forth.
3.5 pounds, a true 3.5 pounds.
Yeah, that's the trigger work that I actually do on the sear and the hammer. You have to file, stone, and file and stone.
How long does that take?
I have about 4 or 5 hours just doing trigger work.
Just doing trigger work.
And then you have to put it on the gauge to make sure you have true 3.5 pound trigger work.
How about the mag release? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I use extended mag releases. So when you actually grab the gun and your thumb, you could actually have a quick mag release. And you can see here, there's some work done to the mag release. That's for filing
manually.
Yeah, because none of them actually fit. This one's actually fitted in here. And also on the mag release, they come oversized for a reason. And then when you have to test it to make sure that when it's fitted, when you push the button, it's going to pop right out. You never want to have a 1911 and you got to kind of have jagged edges. It should just fall right out. That's what a custom gun you're paying for.
What about the ejector?
The ejector has to be also installed and has to be tuned because you want the proper injection of the bullets, and that has to be filed. And I have a certain measurements that how it has to be, the angles to be tuned where the the rounds should be
A lot
ejected.
of work. What about the thumb safety?
The thumb safety is right here, and the thumb safety, you can see how it's filed. This thumb safety here is a tactical thumb safety, and they come oversized for a reason. And the channel is oversized, and you can see there. So once it's
So if you file too much, you're in trouble.
yeah, this one has this pin in here, but you could see here it's supposed to fall in nice and smooth and go engage back and forth, and this here has to be filed enough that it gives enough room for the sear to lock in place when it goes into safe. The other thing is too that I also never want the safety to ever rub on the frame. And you see on low-end guns or entry-level guns, you'll see a lot of scrape marks. When you buy a custom gun, you don't want to see that. So I actually go back and I file areas that might be rough on the frame, so when it will never have any.
Nice. What about the grip safety?
The grip safety, that's another interesting thing. All the grip safeties are oversized, and you can see here.
In the beginning, they're oversized.
Yeah, and
then ultimately, what's your goal?
You have to file and make sure, because once it's oversized, you can't engage the trigger. So you have to file enough that you actually have it actually function and work correctly. Then the other thing is too, on custom guns, and you can see here on this one here, you have to fit the grip safety and you have to blend it. And when you blend it, because they come oversized, and you can see here all the work that's been done on this gun, and you blend it smooth to give that custom look.
How about the extractor?
The extractor, I'm a big fan of EGW. In my opinion, they make the best abstractors. The extractor has to be also tuned to grab the round, and I have a tool that actually tunes the extractor. And then if you want to show the customers out there the rear
serrations to prevent glare, and you did that by hand.
Yep.
Just trying to get a good look at that in the light.
You could hold it there.
Yeah, you did that by hand.
And here's
I'll show
the
this at
slide
home
that doesn't
better.
have the serrations.
Yeah, I'll show this at home at the studio. And you did those serrations by hand.
Yep. And that reduces glare, like if you're on a bright shiny day.
Sure.
And you're actually.
Let's talk about the cut and recessed barrel. I find that really interesting.
That's one of my specialties. I've done them with a Rock Island. Remember we did a video before.
Just compare these two real quick. Mm-hmm. This is close to that's $2,700, I think. I forget what that one cost. That Ed Brown.
Yeah, I think it's
Something like
$2,500 or $2,700. The Special Forces.
But show the difference in the right here at the edge.
Okay, you see here most of the government barrels come standard, and they protrude further than the bushing. And you see here your bushing. For some people that don't know, I go a step further and
see that yours is flush, so it's cut.
Yeah, I do it on a lathe and I cut it flush. Reason being, if the gun ever drops, and it'll never damage the barrel, and you have a very expensive barrel here, it's a $300 barrel. So I cut them flush, and then I deep dish crown them. I don't know if you can see that really well.
Yeah, I'll show that in the studio, but that is really sweet looking. And that
polished.
might help with some gases, right?
Yeah, that actually helps for accuracy.
That's good. Bernie, I'm going to insert this right now. Please let's talk about the special finish on your gun, the Cerakoting finish, and what you got to do to make it so it's not a blued finish. Explain it. Go ahead.
There's a difference between bluing the steel, because the steel finish, you have to finish it or else it'll rust. So some guys actually blue it. You could paint it. I use a process called Cerakoting. It's a ceramic base paint, and it's baked on. It's great for corrosion resistance and for wear. A lot of guys, when they blue a gun, they complain holster wear or the bluing doesn't last. So I'm a big fan of Cerakoting.
Okay, so here's a frame right here.
This is a frame. I finished a gun. I take the frame
And carry it over here and show us what you do. Sorry.
Then this is my sandblasting cabinet. It goes in here, and I blast the finish. Make sure I get all the impurities, any kind of grease or oil or any kind of from filing the metal. So it has to be a fresh finish. Then I go ahead and paint it, and then it gets baked. And then you come back when it's actually the finish is actually on. and do your final assembly.
Let's take a look at the final finish here and then talk about it one more second, because it really is a beautiful finish.
And here's a gun.
I
that's
can tell you right now, that's not gonna scratch easy. It's not gonna.
No,
it's not gonna blemish. I have
one
a
of the
camber
high-
on me. I can show you the bluing's already off of it, and it's only a year old just from carrying it from Holsterware.
Cerakoting is, and you could look it up on their own website. It's Cerakoting Custom Coating, and a lot of manufacturers use it. And actually, I told you SIG has one of their models. They use Cerakoting. It's a great finish. It's the highest in for wear and.
Great. I wanted to just insert that little portion right there. Thank you. What else do you want to talk about here? Really interesting on how you custom make these 1911s. Trigger work, very perfect, 3 to 3.5 pounds. Just a lot of hand work and tight tolerances to come up with this finished product.
Yeah.
You honestly have 40 to 50 hours.
40 hours, 40 man
Minimal.
hours in building a gun. And we've had conversations about, why these guns cost $3,000, not my particular gun, but these big name guys, they have priced at that. The reason being is there's a lot of work to do these guns.
And your price point's going to start at $2,000.
Start at $2,000.
Well, you did a great job. I'm going to talk more about this in the future. Bernie, thank you so much. Did an
Thank you,
excellent
Tom.
job.
Thank you for coming in.
You're
and-
very talented. Very talented.
Thank you.
Checking out. Good job.